Still on manufacturing, localization has again been identified as the key to revitalizing this sector, as revealed in the findings of a study released by Proudly South African. The economy having been seeing a considerable decline in activity as the industries reel from the effects of load shedding, as we discussed a short while ago, along with the current economic climate worldwide. Chief Executive Officer at Proudly SA, Eustace Mashimbye, speaks to us now about these findings. Thank you so much for your time this morning. It's quite encouraging that the study has been commissioned, and it is on a fact-based element that we are talking about the likes of localization. They've been a discussion for quite some time in South Africa. So let's go through an overview of what the study is telling us about revitalizing this industry.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Ms. Sang. So what the study has revealed to us is the fact that if you invest in manufacturing and if there's increased activity in manufacturing, and in fact we used a modeling method that enabled us to determine whether there would be a positive impact if you were to just increase manufacturing activity by about 10% as a result of increased consumption and investment. And all the indicators point to growth. So whether you're talking the GDP, employment, real wages, increase in fiscal revenue, all of it pointed to the fact that if you have increased activity in manufacturing and all its subsectors, you are definitely going to see benefits accruing to the economy.
Quite interesting, Eustace, because like I indicated earlier, these are conversations that have been ongoing within the South African financial sector for quite some time. But to have a document that has been thoroughly researched speaks to what exactly needs to take place from here on. We've known the benefits of localization, but implementation has been lacking in South Africa without even the likes of regulation or a framework. And now the snag is load shedding and the impact that has on a sector that is so labor-intensive and energy-intensive.
Yeah, in fact, one of the things that came out of the report is the fact that in order for these benefits that I mentioned earlier on to really be realized, even if you have increased manufacturing activity, that there are transversal items that would need to be taken care of, and one of them is energy. And so in as much as we are calling on these transversal items to be taken care of, those primary and tertiary sectors will also benefit from increased manufacturing activity, and this includes finance, energy itself, transport, and some of these primary services and sectors that are not necessarily obviously linked to manufacturing when you think of manufacturing, but the multiply effect results in all of those sectors also benefiting. And so the benefits do not just only accrue to the subsector itself as well as the respective value chains, but we see that there are other industries that will also benefit. And obviously in those industries there are people who are employed. They also make a contribution to the GDP. And so all of those benefits is what we are looking for. As Proudly South African, in our call to South Africans to ask them to continue to increase their domestic consumption of locally made products.
Where does this document then go as a research portfolio, especially if we are looking to get to a point in South Africa where we use this type of research to get to policy frameworks, regulation and the likes, because essentially growth within these industries means that there will be growth with regards to reducing the unemployment rate in the country?
We are very excited because as soon as NEDLAC caught wind of the fact that this report is out, they asked that we come present it to the Trade and Industry Chamber. And at NEDLAC we have all the social partners, including government, the private sector, through organized business as well as organized labor and civil society groups. And so we view that as an opportunity to go and present directly to those who are implicated in the report, because the report does make some policy recommendations, and these are the people who will be able to implement those policy recommendations once we have been able to unpack it to them. So 2 weeks from now, we're presenting the report to NEDLAC, and we're hoping that on the back of that presentation, we'll be able to then start having those conversations with the relevant stakeholders, especially at a policy level, who can assist us ensure that policies talk to localization, but also the demand side, because demand is very important in this journey of ours of trying to ensure that manufacturing is revitalized such that it can increase its contribution to the GDP and the recovery of the economy broadly.
Thank you so much for your insights. That's proudly SA CEO Eustace Mashimbye talking to us on the Business Desk this morning about this study that they've commissioned that speaks to facts that have been sourced, talking really to how South Africa can revitalize the manufacturing sector.